Imagine how many melanated children were discouraged by counselor who couldn't see past pigment and never went to college because an educator said they couldn't. They deliberately try to stifle our growth. To their surprise, we still grow. So when they say you can't, repeat after me. I can, I will, and I have.
Back to Everything College. I'm your host, Christina Parker, supporting your college navigation while minimizing debt. Today, I am delivering on a lot of different videos and have some personal work that I also need to do as well. So, excuse my energy. It's early in the morning and I am up and I am giving y'all content. So please go ahead, hit the subscribe button. Please go ahead and give this a huge thumbs up and share with all of your friends because this is important information. So if you haven't read the title, today we're going to be talking about SNAP benefits, EBT, food stamps, whatever terminology that you're most comfortable with is what we're going to be talking about. Now, before we go into this, right, I just want to say this. Students in particular have a high rate of food insecurity, okay? And some of us don't like to acknowledge the fact that we are food insecure, or even understand that we may be food insecure, right? And so I want you to ask yourself these questions. Like, do you struggle to buy food? Is that something that, you know, sometimes you have to skip a meal or two, or you're worried about your next meal, or you don't feel full every day, or you're not eating the proper balance of nutrition because you can't afford to, or even if you had assistance with food because you may not be struggling, it would really support you in being able to save, right? A lot of those things, right? Some of those play into food insecurity, some of those plays into finances and so forth, right? Regardless of what position that you're in, regardless of the situation, okay? I would love for every student out there that's watching this video to look at your particular state and to look into SNAP benefits. Do not think of this as a handout. Do not think of this as a charity. Think of this as a necessity, because it is. You are in college. You are there to get an education. You are there to better yourself, right? And any support or any assistance that could support you along that way is something that, right, is a resource, right? So think of SNAP benefits as a resource, all right? So I'm going to share with y'all my screen, and we're going to talk a little bit about SNAP benefits and how and why students are more eligible to receive SNAP benefits in 2021 than they have been previously. All right. Now, before I do this, I just want to say that not every student, okay, going to be able to qualify, right? Unfortunately. But if you do meet the eligibility requirements and you can get SNAP benefits, I highly encourage you to apply. Granted, a lot of states have started to roll back the enhancements for SNAP benefits, and the enhancements are around COVID-19 and additional money that was put into the pockets of struggling Americans or people that are food insecure, right? Now, we also see from the Biden administration that they, previous to this, they had already passed legislation to increase SNAP benefits by 25%, but Biden is putting pressure on this to take place in 2021, which is going to support students, and it should be active or take effect hopefully in October of this year. So this is going to be super beneficial to all of you students out there to make sure that you get the most bang for your buck and you can actually afford to buy food, because previous to this, right, students, I can say from personal experience, I applied for food stamps. I think I was like in my second year of college or third year of college, and I was like approved for like $12 or something like that. And I was just like, what's the point? What am I gonna do? Buy ramen noodles? Like, I don't understand, right? But now, right, if you're from California, you're a single person, you meet eligibility requirements as a student, which we're going to talk about, you can get $234, right? Which is enough for students or anybody, single person, to actually purchase groceries. And you can get more if you have dependents and so forth. And it does differ depending on your state, but I encourage every student, again, to look specifically right now as you're watching this video, go ahead and Google SNAP benefits in your particular state. Look at some of the eligibility requirements, look at the process on how to apply, look at YouTube videos and go through that process. I know it might be long, it might be daunting, it might be frustrating, but I encourage every student to go through this process because being secure in food is better than not. Okay, so let's go ahead and talk a little bit about eligibility, okay? So previously, right, this is previous to COVID-19 temporary update, right? So generally, students attending an institution of higher education, college, university, trade, technical school, more than half the time are not eligible for SNAP unless they meet an exemption, right? So exemptions have already existed prior to COVID-19, right? But those exemptions rely very particular to instances or to situations for students, right? So those that had dependents, those that were in of your California like EOP program, those that are in job training programs, those that are over the age of 50, like those type of exemptions, right? Those who work 20 hours were exempted from some of the college restraints and things of that nature prior to COVID-19, okay? This is still taking in place in effect in 2021. So if you meet those additional exemptions, regardless of if you meet the exemptions that have been put in COVID-19, you could still qualify for SNAP benefits. So if I don't mention all of them, right, I highly encourage you to do your own due diligence and your own research, and to also click the links in my description because they're so helpful and they can help guide you to get that information. All right, so let's look at the changes that have happened because of COVID-19. So at the beginning of January 16th, 2 new types are now exempt, okay? So those that are eligible to participate or to receive SNAP benefits during a regular school year are determine if a student is considered eligible for work studies, okay? So this is going to be on your financial aid. Are you eligible for federal work studies, okay? If you are eligible for federal work studies, regardless of if you have a job or not, you can now qualify for SNAP benefits. Have an expected family contribution of $0. Then you might be like, does that mean I can't work? Does that mean my mom or my dad or my auntie or my uncle or my foster parent cannot make money? And the answer is no. They just have to make under a certain threshold, okay? Which is about $24,500. They have to make under that threshold for you to be considered to have a 0 EFC. And you might ask the other question, how do I find out if I have a 0 EFC? So you can do multiple things, okay? One, you can reach out to your university in particular. Two, you can go look at your application or any documents that you may have received to see if your EFC is on there. If you receive the maximum Pell Grant, then that means that you have a 0 EFC as well. And so you could go through these different checkpoints in order to see if your EFC is 0. So those are the 2 new exemptions that makes thousands and thousands of students now eligible to receive SNAP benefits, okay? So instead of you having to work 20 hours, now you only have to have had federal work studies and qualify and or have a EFC of $0. So you might ask, like, when did this end, okay? So this is going to end after the COVID-19 public health emergency. So 30 days after this has ended, these benefits and these exemptions will also end. Okay, so it talks a little bit about how these are a little bit different than SNAP. Previously, how do you know if you have a 0% EFC? This also kind of walks you through some of the similar things, right? Maximum Pell Grant, so forth. What do you need to show that you meet the temporary exemption? So if you decide to apply for SNAP, your state SNAP agency may ask you for documents to show that you meet a student exemption. To show that you meet one of the new temporary exemptions, you can provide a copy of your financial aid award letter to show that you're eligible for work studies. You can provide a copy of your financial aid letter on your student aid report to show that you have an expected family contribution, EFC, of $0. You can provide a letter from your school indicating that you have an EFC of $0. And you can request for your school to provide a letter or communicate this information to your state SNAP agency. And then it also has a link for you to find your local SNAP office as well, so you can go through the application process. Also, I do know that there's questions, or like I had questions or thoughts about, does financial aid is considered in the amount of money or in the income when being considered for SNAP benefits? Sorry, y'all. For SNAP benefits? And the answer is no. From all of my research, there has been nothing to where SNAP or where financial aid or scholarships or the grants associated with school are taken into consideration in your income when it comes to SNAP benefits. And I will put some of those links from my research in the tab below. Also, right, I'm not an expert on SNAP benefits, so a lot of this is my own personal research, and I'm trying to give you the best information possible. But if you see anything that I say that is incorrect, please comment that below and give that correct information for students to have. Or if you have went through this process in your own state, please provide that information below so other students can, look at that information and go through that process if they're also from your same state. So yeah, so this kind of just talks about like the spike in need for college students, talks about just the other different exemptions that existed. So responsible for dependent child under 6, you can be exempt from college restrictions. Responsible for dependent between 6 and 12 for whom they have trouble securing child care for, which is actually really relevant for now in COVID-19. Works at least 20 hours a week or 80 hours per month in paid employment. So you cannot go over the 80-hour threshold, but a minimum of 20 hours per week. And if you are someone that falls into that category, then you can also qualify for SNAP benefits. Receive temporary assistance for needy families, TANF, cash assistance or services. You can qualify for SNAP benefits. Is age 17 or younger or age 50 or younger at an institution, you can qualify for SNAP benefits. Is a single parent enrolled full-time and responsible for a dependent child age who is 12 or under, participate in a state or federally funded work study program, participates in a on-the-job training program, is in school through a state or federally approved employment and training program, or is unable or has a reduced capacity to work due to health reasons, which is also very relevant to COVID-19. So there's a lot of different exemptions that could make students eligible to receive this money, or anyone that is out there to receive this money, regardless of if you are currently a student or not, but this is specifically for students out there. So this is a great resource for all of you students to read and go through, answering a lot of different questions around disability status and parenting and how does employment affect SNAP eligibility and so forth, if you have those specific questions. So yeah, so I have multiple different websites as you see for this one. This one is CalFresh. So this is specific to California, right? Every state may have a different terminology associated with SNAP benefits. SNAP is kind of like the universal term that is used regardless of what state that you're in. But if you're in certain states, they might call it something different, such as California, where it's CalFresh. So this kind of just talks about a little bit about, some of those expected family contributions and exemptions, which are pretty much same as the one that I mentioned previously. It also shows how much you can receive per year. In California, it talks a little bit about the 15% increase from January to September 2021, right? But then we also know the federal government did a 25% increase that they're trying to start in October. So after that 15% increase ends in September, then that 25% increase, which is around about $34, $36, will take place. And so I highly encourage people to hurry up and apply so you can get those benefits for September and moving forward. Yeah, so definitely. So 3, 2, 1. So I hope that that information was helpful to all you students out there. Again, I'm not an expert on the topic, but I definitely do want to support students in accessing any resources that are going to support them on their journey. We know that food is so important. And, you know, when you do not have it, right, that can cause disruptions in your education. So regardless of how you feel, whether you think it's a handout, whether you don't like to be on government assistance or X, Y, and Z, or you feel less than, I highly do encourage you just to kind of take a second with yourself and say, is my feelings, right, which are always valid, is my feelings getting in the way of me getting this resource? And can I do some processing or some work to get over that, right? And it might not come easy. Everyone has their own reasons to why they may not want to do SNAP benefits. Maybe you've had bad experiences in the past. Maybe your family was on it, or your family talked bad about it, or you have a negative depiction of it, or whatever the case may be. But I highly do encourage you to just sit down with yourself and be like, am I food insecure? Would this benefit me? Would this support me? Would this help me? And if your answer is yes to any of those questions, I encourage you to go ahead, do a quick Google search for your state, look up a little bit about how much they're going to be providing, X, Y, and Z, and then go through that application process. And if you need any support, hopefully you come back to this YouTube channel and I can provide you with that. I will also link some other dope YouTubers in the description below that you can also get information from that are more, have a better expertise around this. But I hope that all of you students are eating well and do consider taking advantage of SNAP benefits. And until next time, stay studious.